See it.
YouTube should be live in a matter of seconds. Facebook is about to be live as well. Darken my room for some reason. What's on?
Seeing just SFG thing being. Oh, there we go.
It should be live now. We've got 28 seconds till we come in, and actually we're already live. So sorry.
Yeah, I was going to say I don't think that's the live thing.
They see us right now. They can hear us talking. We might as well stay with it.
Cool.
Hey, we've been having technical difficulties. I know everybody's just sitting there looking at us like, hey, what are you guys doing? Well, George and his computer this week, I feel like I could throw this thing out of the window and it still wouldn't help what it's going through. So maybe I'll just roll over it with the S10 or something. Welcome this weekend to the Going Bracket Racing YouTube channel. And as always, we thank you guys for tuning in. Casey, what's going on, man?
Man, not a whole lot. Just trying to figure out what's going on with these computers, just like you are. I'm not the professional at that whole deal, so it's not on me, folks. But nah, man, it's been a decent week. Didn't get to go racing last weekend. It's kind of the story of my life right now. My wife went out of town for like a bridal shower type deal or something. Dog just got fixed, so I really didn't want to bring her. So now this weekend, though, we're ready to go. We got a 2-day race coming up this weekend. In fact, my old man's coming into town actually with the other car. That'll be here behind me next week. Got a 79 Malibu that's coming in. Yeah, it'll be back in here. If you pay attention to the Instagram page, you've probably already seen it. But yeah, man, other than that, just ready to go do some actual racing for once. It's either the weather plagues me or just general life, but going to go race 2 days, hopefully this weekend, pending the weather. Right now it says it's going to rain Saturday. Maybe they'll just run the double on Sunday. And then the next weekend we got another 2-day race. And if nothing else, then I guess Galat's got PDRA going on right now. So if all else fails, hopefully we could maybe run over there and at least catch some PDRA real quick.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. At least something to watch, get to the track and watch some pretty fast cars. I love that PDRA scene. I've been to a couple of races myself and wouldn't mind catching them when they come into Texas, as I'm sure they pretty will. Or I'm pretty sure they will. But no, you skipped over some important information there. How did you come up with that Malibu in the first place? Because I'm pretty sure a lot of people are like, wow, you've got a Nova and now you got a Malibu. And what's under the hood of that bad boy? Give us some details. Unless you want to have a Going Bracket Racing episode unveiling the Malibu in a little bit more detail. I'll let you make your choice there.
I would say that we could do that, but it's not really anything special to unveil. That's the cheap car. Yeah, Justin and Allen are here in the chat. Pollen may cancel everything. That's probably true. My dog just took a nap in pollen earlier. I was telling George, you guys might have heard it the way the computer troubles were going, but I had to wash her off. She was yellow, and she's a black lab. So that was not what she was intending on looking like. But anyways, yeah, man, that Malibu is just a cheap car. The whole thing's about 15 grand turnkey. It needs some work to make it nice. It's kind of one of those things. I like doing fab work and things like that, but I don't want to tear apart my good car and then miss racing with my good car to be able to do that. So that'll be kind of a bunch of tips and tricks in the future on Going Bracket Racing recorded videos. Probably a whole lot of stuff will be going on with that in the wintertime. The car is it's not a bad car. I mean, it just needs a little bit of work and it could be a lot better car, so to speak. It just needs kind of a little bit of TLC to be what it is. But it's got a 498 in it, a bunch of used parts, motor that my dad had. I traded him the other rail I had for this car and a little bit of change on top. So yeah, man, we'll have more projects on the Going Bracket Racing YouTube channel. But that's enough about all my stuff, man. I heard you had to be doing some work on the truck.
Yeah, and certainly real quick before I get into it, I had a shout out. Hey, wife, I see you on there. My wife's watching. You're supposed to be working, not watching me. But hey, what's going on? And evening to Richard Lewis and And Colton Carpenter, I'm pretty sure it's not a foot brake car. It's going to be the Malibu's actually set up to run Super Pro as well. Not sure, Casey, if you're going to be doing any type of no boxing with it. I have to imagine you're probably going to put a quick disconnect in there for that delay box so you can rip it out and run some no box class as well. So specifically, I know that car is going to be kind of set up to run at kind of different tracks whenever you don't want to take the Nova out, if I'm not wrong.
That's the plan. The Malibu's kind of the car that, first of all, it's a backup car. So obviously, if you have two cars, you always have one that you prefer. The Nova is one of those cars that I'm pretty much going to rob the aluminum heads off the Malibu, put them on this car over the winter. It's just got iron heads on it. I think it'll do a whole lot better having the extra 80 pounds off the front end. Just to make the chassis work a little bit better. Plus, I would assume any aluminum head is going to make more power than heads that were designed in 1972 on a casting. So that's my theory. Maybe we get down in the fives with the Nova. And the Malibu, like I said, it's going to be a backup car, kind of just like a hobby type car that's really not that expensive. My dad's going to drive it whenever he comes in town, so he doesn't have to tow all his stuff out here unless he wants to. That's pretty much the intention, but we got some people in here asking about the truck, man. So tell us a little bit about what's going on with the truck right now.
All right, well, and big time shout out to my dad. I don't know if he's watching this. I'm pretty sure he will at one point get a look at this here. But I bought a truck. I told you, Casey. I told the Going Bracket Racing fans the truck's set for about 6 years, and never raced. It's got a fresh motor, a little 368 small block engine inside of it with a glide. Definitely set up to run some Super Pro, as I'm going to run quite a bit of Super Pro here in the Texas area. Looking to make I-30. Excellent job with that track, by the way. I've seen some pictures and some videos, and chimed in on a few conversations about that track. And to see the owner on those particular posts is a big time kudos to nowadays social media running the drag racing scene. The owner of the track and the guy who's pretty much on top of everything is chiming and talking back and actually understanding how the racers felt about that track. So certainly a shout out to I-30 over in Caddo Mills for what you guys put on this week. So long story short, we got the S10 all wired up, put a heavy duty K&R wiring kit. It's all finished. I am going to get a hanger for it so that I can put the switch panel kind of closer to me. It's kind of off to the side a little bit, and if I get into a bind, I want to be able to just reach up and grab it. So I'm going to put it right here, pretty much where yours probably is, Casey, or a lot of you other drag racers out there. Yours is probably sitting right there at the top there. So we're going to get something from Kevin Rodden over at K&R to hang that bad boy up just above me there, just an arm's reach. But fired it up, went through a heat cycle, let it cool down, fired it up again. Everything was going good, and noticed a little leak of water and antifreeze coming out of the back end of it. And it's a completely poured block, so there's not any water on the bottom half of the thing in the first place. But so needless to say, for a truck that's set for 6 years, we expected to run into a few gremlins here and there, something to iron out, get ready to get set to go. And it's way better, as we talk all the time, Casey, it's better to catch your issues while it's still on the engine stand or up on some jack stands, as opposed to 100 mile an hour going down the track and getting some fluid underneath your tires, of course. But so needless to say, we tightened up the intake bolts and some other things there to see if we couldn't get the drip to stop, and haven't quite found out what's causing the little bit of a leak. Probably 80% sure it's probably going to be head gaskets, as I'm pretty sure all of you are probably thinking the same thing. So we'll probably get some head gaskets on it. Hopefully we don't have to use any block seal. If you're like I am, if it's a motor that's put together right, it should sit down seemingly effortlessly. There I am with two different adjectives again, but effortlessly, effortlessly without having to use any block seal. That's what's going on with the S10. I'm definitely I'm set to get the thing by the end of April here, and get into the racing season right at the end of April, early May. I know my wife's getting pretty excited. I am, and we're ready to go have some fun at a racetrack. So I did decide, I do believe there's going to be some Hoosiers on the back of it, though. You can love me or you can hate me about that, but going to put back the way it was set up to run in the first place. So what do you think, Casey? You like those Hoosiers? I know you're running them.
Man, I don't really think there's that big a difference on cars, like at least cars like we're going to have. I think that it's kind of whatever gives you the best deal. Honestly, I've had all kinds of tires over the years. I've had Goodyears, Mickey's, Hoosiers, and I, at this point, just kind of feel like whoever gives you the best deal, that's what I'm going to put on my car. I think they're all good tires. I think maybe if you were running top dragster, top sportsman stuff, maybe it would make a little bit more of a difference. But we don't do that.
True.
So I don't think it really matters. Just get them hot and sticky. If you got to burn them a little longer, luckily with door car, you got a line lock. You can do that.
That's true. That's true.
Is what it is.
Yeah,
burnouts are fun, right?
Right. Sit there and smoke them up a little bit. And I don't want to be in the burnout box too awful long, just because, not beating up on the high side chip. Of course, I ain't going to get there anyway because I got one to stop that from happening. But definitely don't want to sit in there and roach the tires out too bad there, for lack of better terms. Dylan Champion says, chumps run Hoosiers. No pun intended. Dang, we haven't even met yet, Dylan. I heard a lot about you, but man, you're throwing jabs at me already. I'm just kidding. But, yeah, you know what? We've run Hoosiers. We've run Goodyears. Long story short, we had a set of Goodyears sitting in the garage there, and I bet you they sat just as long as the race truck did. Set of Mickeys wouldn't work on the back of the car. Well, we had a super quick race. One race before, we ran 460s. Put a 6-year-old set of Goodyears on the back of it, and we came out and ran 448 right out of the box in the super quick dragster. So, needless to say, I'm with Casey with the fact that I kind of don't care what brand of tire it is. They all seem to be up to par right now. So, Dylan poking fun at me, and I'll pay you back one day. I promise.
Yeah, man. Well, let's talk about this, man. We put a question up on Facebook earlier this week, just asking everybody's opinion on, because, like we said last week, Bo Butner won the Spring Fling Million in Vegas. And what's everybody's feelings on pro drivers coming over? And everybody was kind of pretty positive about all of it. There was really nobody that was saying, oh, no, what I expected to happen was it kind of be half and half. I figured half the people would kind of agree with what I personally agree with, which is more pro drivers coming in just puts more and more eyes on us, little guys, that wouldn't otherwise get the publicity. It brings more sponsors in for like Motor Mania. SFG races have JEGs. They're tied up with JEGs now because they're all at all their races, all pro drivers. And I always thought it was positive, but I assumed there would be people coming in with some negatives saying, well, these guys got all the money. These guys got this. These guys got that. Like, I know there's a lot of people that hate on Alexis DeJoria, for example, saying like her dad's a billionaire. She doesn't need sponsors. She's taking sponsors somebody else could have. I expected some of that. But overall, man, it's just nothing but positivity from the bracket racing community with these pro drivers coming in, even though they're kind of in this scenario, I guess you could say they're beating up on them. What do you think?
Yeah, man. And I don't really have any negatives, and certainly I'm curious to see what our chat's going to say about it, our followers and everything, and kind of get their thought process around it. This is going to be a good dialogue. That post we made, I think we had maybe 50 different comments on it. So if you guys got thoughts on this, certainly chime in and let us know what you're thinking. And so what I think here, Casey, is probably a good point to let some people chime in before we get to me. Let's go ahead and cut to a quick commercial here from our boys over at TSR. And certainly thank you guys very much for what you do. And we will be right back to you right after this, guys.
The Going Bracket Racing YouTube channel has partnered with TSR Racing Products to give away not one but two $100 certificates redeemable for anything you may need from TSR's extensive transmission parts list. The only requirement To be entered is to subscribe to the Going Bracket Racing YouTube channel and comment on this video. The drawing will take place April 21st. TSR Racing Products has everything you need to make your Power Glide Turbo 350, Turbo 400, and 727 transmissions the best they can be on the street or at the track. With exceptional products, customer service, and over 30 years of experience, TSR Racing Products is always available to help their customers with any of their transmission needs. In-house machining ensures you only receive the best products from TSR Racing. Visit TSR Racing Products at tsr-racing.com or give them a call at 800-394-5889. So remember, guys, literally all you have to do is subscribe to this YouTube channel. I think it's like somewhere right over there, that red button. Click that subscribe button and just leave a comment down below so George and I have your screen names so we can enter you in the drawing. We can only see like the last 100 subscribers to the YouTube channel. So do that and you'll get some cool stuff from TSR here in about a month from now. So you got time to get in. So get in where you fit in. Talk to you later. Bye.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in there. Welcome back. We wanted to cut and give a little bit of pay as much respect as possible to TSR. Thank you guys so much for coming on board and dropping off two pretty nice sized gift certificates there at TSR. So anything you need for some transmission, maybe you're having a few woes. Hopefully I don't run across any of those in my efforts to make the S-Dime perfect. But if I do, I know where to go. So yeah, definitely thanks for chiming in. I got to correct myself. Dylan Champion says champs, not chumps.
That makes more sense to me.
Yeah. Does he have Hoosiers on the back of his car, Casey?
I believe so, but his car only goes 720, so it might not spin unless there's water.
Hey, Dylan, that was a shot. Hey, when you see Casey, you owe him something. Noogie, give him a good one. Or Wet Willie, just give him a good one. Just load him up.
Hey, man, he's a lot bigger than me. Don't give him any ideas. He's a big dude.
Yeah, buddy. So here we go. And so my thought process behind pros coming back into the show, we can go about this for a while too, because I have several thoughts, and I'll just drop one there and let you take off from there. But professionals really are returning back home, in my opinion. Bracket racers, especially the professionals that we have, Sean Langdon, Spencer Massey, you got Bo Butner and his crew, you got Jeggy and all the Coughlin boys. Well, they gave their start to drag racing in the bracket scene in the first place. So, for lack of better terms, welcome back, welcome home. You know, back to our side of bracket racing and instead of professional racing. What do you think about that, Casey?
Well, I mean, I kind of agree with like Alan in here saying it's all numbers. Best package wins. So is what it is kind of deal. I mean, best man wins every single bracket race, no matter if your package was good or if it was bad. Sometimes you have the battle of the bad lights. I've been in those too, but it doesn't matter because the numbers always win. If you're playing blackjack, 21 always beats 20 every single time. And that's what bracket racing is, man. And, you know, like Dave Connolly, he ran pro stock for a while, did pretty good in pro stock. He's back to running
big money bracket racing
too. Yep. And now it's saying connection lost for some reason. Can you hear me?
I got you loud and clear, and you're live, so I don't know why it's saying that. What a day! Casey's in North Carolina struggling with technical issues, and I'm in Texas struggling with.
Now I see you.
Well, you're totally live, man. I'm telling you now, and I haven't cut out either. Oh, I heard you the whole time.
I don't know what the deal was with that.
Can you hear me?
So anyway, yeah, I can hear you.
Good.
I don't know what happened there. Weird deals. We just have nothing but woes, I guess, today, man.
It's just that day.
Thought we had this figured out. I guess you never will, you know?
Right. It's just that day, too.
But
jumping off what you said, Dave Conley, he's running big money bracket racing now and has been, you know, for a little while there. I've been seeing Dave Conley. Is it a black Nova that he's driving? I think is what it was. Either a Nova or a wagon. A white one? Mm-hmm.
People might hire him out every once in a while. He's a really good driver. His dad was a really good superclass racer.
Yes.
Back maybe still, you know.
I know he ran a lot of super gas.
It kind of never leaves you.
Yeah, he ran a lot of super gas. So those roots are ingrained in all the pros in the first place. I won't be shocked to see a few more head back over this way. It wouldn't shock me to see Erica Enders. I know she came out of junior dragsters straight into the pro fields and may not have done a lot of bracket racing, but I've seen her at Kyle's race, just spectating. She's out there in the crowd at a bracket race. So bracket racing's in her blood too. So I wouldn't put it past a few more of those racers. And going back to what Alan said, it's all a numbers game anyway. Yeah, you're a pro, but I feel like a pro too. You know what I mean? Not necessarily in the level of running pro stock cars, which, hey, if anybody's looking for a pro stock driver, I will do what I can to get this physique down to like 190, because that's probably all I can ever get close to getting to. And I'd love to pilot one of those bad boys, but I say welcome back. Welcome back. You made it back home, and that's just how I feel about it.
Well, and I think that it might have been our last live stream last Tuesday with Brian Wagner, senior associate editor of Dragzine. I'm pretty sure he might have said something along the lines of the skills from pro stock. Now, obviously, driving the top end, that's irrelevant in a heads up category. But the skills of pro stock hitting the tree is not really much different than a top valve class. You're reacting to the flash. Well, it's the instant flash. Now, if he was going to foot brake, totally different game. Watching the tree come down, using blinders, doing whatever it is you do. But he's just using his foot. You might have said that. He's using his foot other than his finger, and it's the same thing, right?
It's no different, because in pro stock, you got your hand on a finger too. So I think it's your hand on a finger. Of course you got your hand on a finger. You got your hand on a button as well. And I think they're coming off of a button coming off of the clutch at the same exact time.
Well, they're using it. Yeah, using the line lock.
You know what I mean? So we got a comment from Brandon Barker here, and he says, at this point, big money bracket racing is so prestigious, and racing the pro classes has become super expensive. It only makes sense to get more attention for bracket racing. NHRA will always be on top, but there is a lot of attention coming our way. Spot on.
Well, look at it this way, and going off of what Brandon just said, Jag Jr. just said a couple years ago when he got to the semis of the SFG 525, the very first one, which I guess that was the only one at this point, right? Or was there another one after that?
There was a million.
Has there been two 500s yet?
I don't think, because I think that last 500 got canceled. I think it got canceled.
That's true. So anyways, when he got to the semis, I heard that he said that was the most money he's ever made racing, ever in one race. So, I mean, that puts it into perspective right there. I mean, this guy's been a pro stock champion multiple times, and that's the most money he's ever won racing. Now the pro stock championship, maybe it paid more than that, but as far as just a one race thing, I heard that whoever got to the semis got $100,000 right there.
And if not more, you know what I mean? I know they've done a lot of chopping of that check, a lot of big time money coming off the top there. I want to say I thought it was Ezel versus
Birch in the final,
right? But Jeg was right there in the split. You know what I mean? So there was a lot of money being chopped up. It was top heavy, and as it will be when you're racing for $1,500,000. Speaking of SFG, thank you for everything that you guys do. I know you got a race coming up, not this weekend, but the next. But it seems like the party's going to start this Saturday. That track in Bradenton is somebody smart. I mentioned this on the last post, on the last stream we had. They're throwing a $5,000 on Saturday. What does that mean is going to happen? That means anybody, number one, it's already the weekend, so you're probably not at work anyway. Anybody who's anybody is leaving either Thursday or Friday to get to that 5K race so that they get data on the track. They understand Bradenton as a weather standpoint. And, and then Kyle's putting on a testing tune on Sunday. So if you're going to that race, you got it.
And don't forget, George, there's a lot of guys there that are probably like you and me, and SFG is not pre-entry this year. So maybe they do good at that race, and maybe they get to run all that SFG race that they couldn't afford earlier.
I'll tell you what, you took the words right out of my mouth. No pre-entry required to get into the SFG 500. I want to say it's under $2,000 to compete for $500,000. Okay, so this isn't a, hey man, if I get 300 cars, then I'm going to pay $500,000. No, this is guaranteed I'm going to pay you $500,000 to come and run my race. So specifically, I got to shout that out because that in itself is a big time feat for bracket racing. But back to what Brandon said. Of course, the sports are going to begin to gain more professionals. We're paying $500,000. You know, it wouldn't shock me if John Force himself said, I'm going to try my luck at bracket racing just because they're paying $500,000.
Well, now that they're paying all this money, they're getting people like Motor Mania, they're getting people like Bang Shift, they're getting people like Dragzine, Drag Illustrated, like they're getting the publicity they've always needed. Now the money's there, and that big number up top attracts a lot of attention because it is more money than all these pros make. And they're kind of like, hey, maybe these guys are the pros and we haven't figured it out yet. And the thing is, at the end of the day, man, I mean, you're going to go to Indy to see as many cars that are going to be at the SFG 500. You know what I mean? Like I think Indy usually caps it at maybe like, I don't know if it's 750, 850 cars, something like that. I'm pretty sure there were 700 some cars at the original 500.
Oh my goodness. The warm-up race. Oh my God. The warm-up race leading up to the 525. I just so happened to be in competition.
Oh yeah, you were there.
I was in competition.
You were there.
Man, I want to say there were 700 entries into the warm-up race, Casey. I think we were running for 20 grand on Wednesday or something like that. And the entry might have been like $100, something super cheap. But everyone ran that race. Okay, so Kyle doesn't care if you guys don't enter into the 500,000. You probably will because you're there. You can still go and run the smaller races that surround the big go. And if you hit any type of money, I guarantee you, each one of you are probably double entered the $500,000. That's just smart.
Well, why wouldn't you? You already have all those shots down the track. You have an advantage over anybody just simply because of the data. And if nothing else, I mean, we've talked about this before on the Going Bracket Racing YouTube channels. Just the confidence means a lot. It doesn't even matter you could be slinging slot, but if you just won yesterday, you're more apt to go up there and be like, I think I'm set up 5. Well, if I red light, I don't care. I already got a bunch of money in my pocket. I'm going to go kill this guy, or I'm going to red light and drink beer with my buddies, you know?
Speaking of what you just said, and so we can piggyback right back into the professional thought process. For instance, and I'm going to start with my example, my own personal testimony. I'm coming into the first race of the SFG 525, and I look over into the left lane, and none other than Jed Coughlin himself. I had a huge smile. I mean, the smile was ear to ear. I was like, I'm racing Jed Coughlin. It was a time run. It was just a time run, right? But I was on the wheel because I wanted to see if my time slip reaction time would be faster than his. Because I could have then said, hey, Casey, man, I beat Jed Coughlin on the tree on that time run. And you'd have been like, that's pretty cool. And I'm pretty sure everybody else would have said that too, you know? So is it good or is it a crutch that a professional is coming to the bracket racing series, the big goal, the big money races? I want to know from the fans too, because you guys look in the other lane and see Jed Coughlin or Spencer Massey. I bet everyone, including myself, gets up on the wheel a little bit harder. What do you think, Casey?
Dude, I would say that, number one, I would say that run the same race you're going to run every single time. If you're going to kill somebody every single time, kill every single person, because every single person has the ability to do what everybody else can do to you anymore.
True.
However, I do think that could potentially be a disadvantage for these pro guys because people do know who they are. You know, people don't know Casey Beckmeyer rolling up next to him. They don't know that guy. Like, they look over at me and they've never seen me before. You know what I mean? So I could be really good. I could really suck, but they don't know. But Jeg is really good. You know, Bo Butner is really good. You know this. You know Dave Connolly is really good. All these people with these big names. I mean, there's nobody going up to run Troy Williams Jr. saying, "Oh, who's Troy Williams Jr.?" If you bracket race, if you're at a race that Troy Williams Jr. is at, you know who Troy Williams Jr. is. You know what I mean? So I just think that it would actually be a hindrance more for them than it would be for us.
Hey, big shout out over here to Ryan Leghorn. He says, y'all's beards look great, guys. Man, I put a lot of work into this. It still isn't as big as Casey's, but you know, I'm coming to your wedding, and I think I might have some type of a role in that. So I said to myself, I am not shaving my beard. I probably won't even shave it afterwards, but until your wedding, man. This beard is for Casey Beckmeyer's wedding. Everybody, just so you know,
Hey,
that's my best friend.
well,
I've known him for so
it was
long.
the wedding that was supposed to happen last year,
Right.
So we still ended up signing the paperwork because I wasn't playing that game anyway. But we still signed the paperwork. So she is my wife, but we got to have the reception. George's actually going to be the preacher in that deal. What do you call it? What's your position, George? I forget. What's it called?
What? Say it again. I was reading Brandon Barker's post.
The minister. You're the minister.
Oh yeah. So I get to say, dearly beloved, and smile just like this. Look.
On behalf of Going Bracket Racing, I pronounce you man and wife again. But we appreciate that, Gleghorn. Yours isn't too bad yourself.
Hey, Will's in here. Hey, Will, you should definitely keep your beard for the wedding, and can't wait to crack open an adult soda with you, man, whenever we get there. So here's a question from Brandon Barker. He says, who are you up on the wheel harder for? Jeggy, Langdon, Butner, or Bogacki, Scotty, or Peter Biondo?
I would say in the order, I would say Biondo first, just because everybody saw at the Spring Fling Million at Bristol last year that they rescheduled and took it to Bristol. Biondo hadn't driven a car in who knows how long and was just 006 after his all, like just 006, 003, like something like that, like insane. And yeah, he got beat, but I mean, he was right there, first of all, and I would venture to say that most of the people out there, and probably majority of the people agree with us in the chats, that if you take me out of the car, as long as Biondo's been out of the car, I'm not going to just come out and be 006. I'm not, you know.
It doesn't matter how hard you hit the little eliminator here. Don't matter how hard you hit this little thing. And you still need that seat time. Don't matter.
That's right. And don't forget about the fact that Scotty can say all he wants that these young guys have passed him. Scotty Richardson's been my hero for my entire life. Like since I was a little kid running junior dragsters, I've been hearing about Scotty Richardson forever. And the only reason these guys can drive the way they do is because Scotty Richardson invented that. All the stuff that these guys are doing, Scotty was doing that in the 90s.
Man, him and Edmund both, they were both, catalyst of playing games at the finish line and this, that, and the third. So if I had to answer that question, I kind of take my cue from what Casey said a little earlier. If it's any of them, I'm probably going to be up on the wheel just as hard as possible. Because let's think about what we're doing here. You show up to the SFG 500 or the Great American Million or Spring Fling or Loose Rocker, Custom Tee, go out to Custom Tees and go to I think it's the King of the Crown or something like that, the race that Wesley Washington puts on. The people who are going to be racing there are waiting to put a 00 pack on you. So if you're not 00 pack for them too, pack it up, man. Pack it up. It doesn't matter who you line up against right now. If you're going to these big races, you're going to race somebody who is capable of getting the job done. Otherwise, it wouldn't be there in the first place. I know a lot of people who go out and have fun, on the weekends, $100 entry, $100 entry with a $50 buyback. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking $2,000 entry with a $500 buyback. And most of them are entered twice. So that's $5,000. So
there's not one person who pays money to get into that race that even if you didn't pay your own money to get into that race, someone believed in you enough that you could do it, or you believed in yourself enough that you could do it. You don't just throw money like that. You might go on the weekend and be like, man, my car's been having troubles. I'll go run first round, buy back and lose second round just to get some test runs. You might do that for your normal everyday bracket race for $60, but you're not doing that for $2,000. Not unless you got a whole lot more money than we do.
That's true. And I'll tell you what, it's definitely like I said in the beginning of this with the S10, it's definitely a race that you don't want to show up to and your stuff isn't ready to go, up to par. I can't have an antifreeze leak in the 5th round of the million. All right, because Hello, Suicide Watch. I'm just kidding. But hello.
Well, here's a question. Here's the question that has to do with that. So S. Alfred in here over on the YouTube side says the question is, what package do you set up for? I would be assuming in a race like Spring Fling Million or the SFG 500 or something like that. What package would you set up for, knowing that you might have a Scotty Richardson or a Biondo or a Bogacki or all the other people Brandon named, that Ezels, Galettis, any of those guys?
I'm going to tell you what, I'm not telling you. Thanks for the question. What was his name again? Thank you very much for the question. But if I tell you the answer, that means you might have one up on me maybe down in
well,
in the
let's say it
somewhere.
this way then.
You want to speak hypothetical?
Rather that's Alfred in there.
Alfred.
So so put the question to you this way. What package would you assume is going to more than likely be a winning package in those type of races? What do you need to be to win more so than you would lose?
Mm-hmm. So my personal self, and hypothetically, so I'm setting up 20. I'm going to be 10 up front and 1 above in the end. Okay. I feel like with 20, that is a lot of room for some of these names that we just mentioned, but it gives me room for error at the same time. I know my finger. I know it 100%. So I could set up 20 all day long. That's not going to stop me from going 00 on the tree on you. It's not going to stop me from, running the car out the back door, knowing it can run a little faster. But, so I don't want to play their game. As a matter of fact, I don't even know if I'll look in the other lane versus any of those names. I'm telling you, I'm probably going to let go of the button and just look forward. And they're going to look at me like, this fool ain't looking. I ain't looking at you the whole. I might even look at the other, just look in the other lane so they can see my head look the other way. Hey, I know you're over there, but I'm not looking at you.
You're in the left lane.
I'm not looking. I'm not looking, and I don't care where you are on the track. I'm taking a stripe. So I'm setting up 20. 20 is tight enough.
The one thing that a guy that some people in the chat might know, maybe you do, maybe you don't, but he's been around forever. But Jim Simmons, in his 70s now, but I grew up, my dad's one of his best friends. I grew up running around, getting wrenches and whatnot for everybody, that all the racers and everything. And Jim was always parked right next to us. And the thing he always told me since I was knee high to a duck, he used to always tell me, just whatever you do, don't play their game because they're better than you at it. That's why it's called their game.
And those words to live by for sure. Got a couple comments in the chat I'm going to read here real quick. One from Brandon Barker. It looks like he's got to take off. Brandon, man, hey, special shout out to you. Thanks for coming on, being part of the Going Bracket Racing YouTube channel. I'm pretty sure that Casey may have dropped a winning T-shirt in the mail to you for winning that. Yeah. Well, I don't know what's going on there. I got a call today. We'll talk about that offline and whatever. But everything's good. You should have it by the end of the week. I'll tell you that much. But shout out to him for winning the guess on how many cars will be at the Spring Fling Vegas. He asked a question. He says, "Good to see you guys as always." He says, "While I've got you, are you guys down for making a video for the Bracket Life brand YouTube channel tomorrow night or Thursday?" So we have just been invited to Bracket Life brand. If you guys don't know what Bracket Life brand is, you're going to know about it real soon. They have a really nice website, apparel, hats. He does embroidering, custom work on your fire suits if you're drivers. And certainly shout him out. I believe it's at bracketlifebrand.com. And you'll be able to see what Bracket Life's got going on over there. At the same time, Dylan says, to piggyback off of how tight will we be set up, he says, set up tight, but not so tight that you can put yourself out of the race. That's why I said 20. You know what I mean? Because, listen, I understand what it means to let go of a button. I've done it enough times. Everybody got to run junior dragsters. I didn't come out of junior dragsters. So what did I do? Well, I played a simulated PC game called Burnout, and I hit this thing like it was my job. Over and over and over and over and over and over. I venture to say if I had documented it, I may have more hits at the tree than a whole lot of people have on a track. Just because that's all I did was, I can't go racing. Well, I'm just going to act like I am. And making the sounds with my mouth as a little kid, and getting down there and womp, 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 and like, okay, cool, whatever. But so I'm going to leave a little bit of room for error just because I gotta be able to make sure, number one, I ain't going red. Number two, I'm not breaking out. Okay. I'll take a page out of not Gage Birch, but Corey Galletti, when he said he was racing for that dragster, he says, I was just going to give enough room to where he had to take the stripe, and he couldn't back up any more into me. Well, I'll probably take that type of a thought process, but I'm not looking over in the other lane anyway, so it's just going to be by sheer luck.
Hey, man, it's I would say whatever people say, what should I do? What should I do? This, that, and the other. What you should do is whatever you think you're best at. That's what you should do. You know, it's like, again, going back to the whole blackjack thing. Anyone who's been at a casino knows either you always hit 16 or you never hit 16. I'm one of those guys, I don't hit 16 because I've hit 16 so many times that I've busted every single time or the vast majority of them. And I quit hitting 16, started winning more. I mean, that's just me. I got a buddy that he always hits 16 and he wins a lot too. I mean, it's literally whatever you're comfortable with. That's what you're going to win with more than the other way around, simply because of your comfort level. There is so much involved with bracket racing, hitting the tree, being comfortable, being too hot, being too cold. I mean, you got all the mechanics of everything running on. You got wind, all kinds of stuff, man. There's so much stuff. Just do whatever makes you comfortable and you'll be better off, is what it is.
Yeah, I'm reading on YouTube. I switched over. Little Nasty Red says 20 or less. I like it. I do.
Yeah.
I love it. S. Alfred says 10, and let them get inside of that. Man, if I lose with a 10-pack, then hey, I'll buy you a beer at the end of the night because you deserve it. You know what I mean? 00 on both ends of it is what it takes to get 10. Unless you're 10 on the light and dead 0, which come get it. You know what I mean? But I agree with both of those. 10 isn't even that tight to me either. So
hey, man,
you know,
if you watch Motor Mania though, now that they're, you know, as of I think last year for the most part, it seemed like now there's a whole lot of announcers to the point where the whole race is being announced. There's not a dead area unless it's maybe like re-entry round. That's fine.
Right.
Give them a little bit of a break. But man, whenever these announcers are on there actually telling you some of this stuff, some of these big races, I mean, you can watch some of these big racers. They sling some slop every once in a while too, man. We're all human. You know what I mean? You know, everybody's prone to miss the tree just like they can hit the tree.
It's a fact that you're going to need that to win one of these big races anyway. Right. I don't think it's possible to just be perfect. Actually, I should take that back because maybe it is possible, but it's few and far between that you were just that good all week and all day long in a huge race like that. You pulled up against Scotty Richardson and busted his head, and then Gage Birch came up and you beat him, and then I came up and you lost. Yep, that's about right.
Well, that's the thing, man, is that it's like right here. S. Alfred right here in the YouTube chat says, mainly it's who you pull beside at the time. And that's 100% true, man, because the biggest piece of crap car out there, he's still in the same essence. Like we said, there's all these guys that are going to hit the tree. Vast majority, 90% of the time, they're going to be 00 something and dead on. Well, guess what? That guy with the junk car, because we bracket race, he's prone to miss the tree fast, be 00, and the wind picks up and slows him way down. And now he runs dead on too.
Look, man, there are a lot of things that you could do wrong inside of a race car. One thing that I could say you can do right at all times, I'm speaking to everybody, I don't care who you are, don't overthink it. If you got something that you're good at, like Casey said, stick to it. Stick to it. Stick to it. Make it your go-to. That way you're eliminating, I caught him by the 330. Oh, crap, I caught him too quick. Oh, he caught me by the 60-foot mark because he's holding 12 numbers on me or something ignorant, because that is what they want you to do. They're going to play a game in their lane. You do whatever you do in your lane, and I promise you turn on more win lights.
And here's the other thing, George, that I was kind of just thinking of while you were talking. So let's think about it this way, going kind of venturing back to our whole what's pro drivers going to do for the sport. Well, this is an offshoot of that. Scotty Richardson has made a living driving race cars. We all know that. Scotty Richardson, the first big time race that he's won, like he's won a ton of big races, but the first big race he's won was just last year at the Spring Fling Million in Bristol. So think about it that way. arguably, if not the greatest, definitely top 3 greatest bracket racers of all time. It took him that long to win one of those big races. So looking at it that way, all of us regular guys have just as good a chance as him, right? Because he's at every single one of them.
That's true. And he's at every one of them, and he's probably doubled in every one of them, and just now got it done last year. So to win one of these races, guys, you're going to go against stiff competition the whole night. It is what it is. I like it that way, to be honest. Let's go racing. This is going to be some of the best racing that you'll ever do. So
you'll never get better. You'll never get better. You'll never get better if you're 7 feet tall and you're playing basketball with some dude that's not Muggsy Bogues and he's 5 foot tall. That guy's not going to beat you. You know what I mean? Like, you're just going to dunk on him all day long. You're never going to get better that way. You're going to get better going and racing Scotty Richardson, going and racing Corey Galletti, Ezel, all these guys. That's what's going to make you a better racer to begin with. So I'm not saying you need to go spend all your money and do that, but I'm also saying, for example, if you live around the Bradenton area, don't be scared to go to your regular bracket race that you were going to go to anyway. I mean, Galat, they're actually doing a $21,000 race the day before the spring fling at the end of this month. And I'm going to be at that unless it rains out. And all those spring fling boys will be there because that's big money anyway. It's $250 run for $21,000.
They're coming. They're going to be there. And like Casey said, just because, I'm announcing that you're probably going to have a packed house. The only thing I will say is don't expect to get home early. Okay? That race is going to run quite a bit. The good thing is,
sleep in the trailer.
You sleep in a trailer or get a hotel room. Head over to Camping World and rent an RV. You might need it. Okay, maybe, I don't know. But good thing is they have Sunday left over as well, to where if it spills into it, I know Kyle's putting on a testing tune, but if they get 600 entries into that 5K, at least they have a second day to run the rest of that race. So don't be afraid to pull up over there and jump into your program. I know it's a regular points race likely, and a lot of you might feel bombarded, but hey, it's going to be a race, so get there. It's going to be fun. Trust me.
I don't know if you can hear me. My connection just went out again, so just keep talking. It'll come back.
I'll tell
you when it does.
I hear you, and they hear you. So trust me, you're here. Hopefully, you can hear me. We got another comment in the track. He says, it is interesting to see how many box guys are not as good as expected. Hitting 30s. Thought you guys get a lot more passes in general than we do here in Australia. It looks like he's in Australia.
Well, I just now heard you. I don't know if you heard me earlier, but my connection has been out for the 3rd time now. That's definitely on my end. We got a little bit of everything going on.
So I'll read it again, and I'm back. I'll read it again, and I heard you the whole time here. But Tex Griffiths, he says, it's interesting to see how many box guys are not as good as expected, hitting 30s on the tree. Thought you guys got a lot more passes in general than we do here in Australia. Though, you guys.
We do.
Yep. So
we do, for sure. We have a lot more tracks, that's for sure.
Going bracket racing in Australia. Tex, welcome to the show, brother. Glad you're here.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. That's the truth. And that's kind of what we were talking about on one of the previous live streams whenever we were saying, is a delay box even an advantage anymore? Because some of these no box guys are so good that I don't think it is. I really don't. I think that it goes back to what we were just saying a minute ago. Do what you're best at. And in my opinion, if you can hit the bottom, the best place you can be, the reason Nick Hastings is so good is because he can hit the bottom so well. Let's just say that you can hit the bottom like Nick Hastings. You're crazy not to just go run Pro ET and run Top Bulb, and then you get to make a run. You come back around, fuel the car up, you go right back up, use whatever data you just found, and at least if nothing else, you're going to know what your car's going to run. Whereas the other guy had to sit more.
Yeah, and we discussed it, and that makes it a whole lot. It actually makes it an advantage to the no-box cars because, like you just said, you can run top even though you don't leave off the top. Doesn't matter. They're not going to restrict you. So I think that, and this is always going to be my stance on it, I think that leaving off the top for me is more effective, I'm going to be a better racer leaving off the top. That's just me.
Right.
And I'm sure a lot of us who don't ever leave off the bottom feel the exact way. Now, can I leave off the bottom? Sure, I can. Sure. Done it before in competition as well. But I'm sticking to the top. And me and my K&R delay box.
Well, that's the thing, man. And it like I said, it just goes back to what we were talking about earlier, where what do you feel most comfortable with? That's what you're going to have the most fun doing because you're in your element. That's what you are personally going to be the best at because you subconsciously know that that's what you're going to do better. But, you know, there's nothing to be said that if one year just somebody says, hey, I'm going to run bottom bulb this year, guess what? You get enough runs running bottom bulb. I think anybody who's a good racer can also be a good racer in any other class. Going back to the whole Scotty Richardson thing again, Scotty Richardson's won big bottom bulb races too, proving what I just said. A good racer is a good racer. Now, you can't just take somebody who's ran top bulb their whole life and enter them in the World Foot Brake Challenge and be like, hey, man, go win that. They're not going to. Yes. But if you gave them a year ahead of time, they would be competitive.
That's definitely true. Certainly keep them coming, guys. And the subject of the day, as we're beginning to get a few more viewers here on the Facebook page, and I think the YouTube page is grabbing a few more too, but we're talking about the reemergence of pros into the bracket community is the way I want to call it. And is that a pro and a con? I don't see very many cons to it. I really don't. And I really appreciate them coming back because, like you said, along with the emergence of big money bracket racing and professionals getting off into it, you have the ability to get sponsored live streams most of the times by Jegs or another sponsor that's like, oh, okay, the big guys are going to be there where we're going to sponsor so all the little guys can watch. You know what I mean? So certainly you can't. Well, thanks for coming back. Welcome back. If any of you guys want to be on the show and explain to us any type of your feelings, hey, Casey and George, Going Bracket Racing YouTube channel, I have a spot for you at any point in time. Jeg Coughlin, if you want to race, I would love to line it up. Just stay away from me in elimination. See you in the finals or something, okay? Don't line up against me in the finals or until the finals. So, come on, Casey, man, what all we got going on?
Man, I don't know, not a whole lot, man. The problem is my connection keeps fading. I'm in it right now. Everything's all good. It could die at any moment. Who knows? But get your comments in while you can because the next one might be the end of it. You never know. But no, man, I think that the moral of the story is that I think everybody wants the pros to keep on showing up. The more eyes we can get on bracket racing, the better. I think that people like Bo Butner winning the Spring Fling Million is nothing but beneficial for especially big money bracket racing, but even regular bracket racing, because I think that Bo Butner has a big enough following where people are going to see, hey, Bo Butner did this. That must be important now, even though we've all known it has been forever, and he's known that too. But now it's important to them. And it's like Brian Wagner said last week on last week's stream, Bo Butner has a No Prep Kings car. If Bo Butner goes and runs No Prep Kings and gets all those fans, guess what? All those fans that are at No Prep Kings, they love race cars. They can't afford those No Prep Kings cars, just like the vast majority of us. Because No Prep Kings cars, those are just as expensive as a Pro Stock or a Pro Mod, if not more expensive. You know, but the thing is getting those people to realize that this isn't all that's out there. Because they see it on TV, they see it on prime time on Discovery Channel. They don't see us there, but whenever they realize they could watch it for free, maybe it gets them interested. It doesn't cost them anything to watch. Everybody's got YouTube on their phone. Everybody's got the internet, and maybe they're just like, hey, maybe I want to try that. You know, if you look at the 1% rule, which is the main rule that everybody uses in marketing tactics, if 1% of your people that view your stuff are buyers, or 1% of the people you talk to are buyers, something like that, there's 2 million people that watch the Discovery Channel every single week for Street Outlaws.
Correct.
1% of 2 million is a
big
lot.
Number. It's a big number. I don't feel like doing that, by the way. You can do the math. I'm not doing that.
It's like 20,000.
Pretty sure, right? So I'm gonna skip over to YouTube because I don't want you switching your channel, Casey, that way because you're having a few technical difficulties, I think there.
That would be wise.
By the way, we can hear you each time you cut out. You might not be able to see or hear me, but we can hear you loud and clear. So definitely just keep talking. And if I notice you're not responding, I'll just be like, Casey must be having technical difficulties
So
again, and keep
don't
moving.
start a fussing and a cussing, and don't pick my nose.
Nah, don't do that because they can see you. They can see you. So here we go. We'll go back in there, and it says, Little Nasty Red, he says, gotta beat the best to be the best. And I don't care what sport, what facet, what anything, even at work, it doesn't matter. You got to outshine the best to become hit better than him. It doesn't matter. Or her, by the way. So that's spot on, Little Nasty Red. He says, he can hear you, by the way. And then Alan Boynton says, it goes back to what I said, best package wins. Run your own race. Don't worry about who you're running. That's the best advice anybody's going to give. You can't say it any better than that, and especially doing what we do. Too many tricks going on at the finish line, too many things going on at the starting line even, I won't give out anybody's racing strategy, but I'm sure that I've seen some people get caught before the 330, okay?
Yep.
Just because the other car is holding that many numbers. You can't look over in that other lane and be like, oh crap, he's already here. Unless you're smart enough to say, oh crap, he's already here, but I wasn't late on the tree. So I'm just going to drive my car straight down to the stripe and see who gets there first. That's how you race.
In my opinion, man, and everybody can take it for what they will, and it doesn't affect me either way. You can say I'm dumb for it, and you can say I'm the smartest person ever for it. I really don't care. But there's a lot of people, almost everybody says a good driver can take a 20 light and win. And George, I've told you this a million times, and there's a million people going to disagree with me. And like I said, it doesn't matter to me. That's fine. But in my opinion, if that guy has a 20 light and this other guy's 00 something, and he goes down there and that guy with the 20 light wins that race, everybody's giving that guy so much praise. Oh man, he dropped him. He did this and that. Oh, he's such a great driver. He won that race. That's not true. The guy in the other lane was being a bad driver. That other guy got lucky. That's what happened.
It's a fact.
And I just think there's so many people that are trying to, like Jim Simmons says, they're trying to play that guy's game. And they're losing because of it. That's that guy's game. Don't play his game and you would have beat that guy.
It's a fact. And again, to piggyback off of that, he dropped me. Oh man, he took too much at the finish line. No, he didn't take too much. He was given that much finish line stripe. Right? It doesn't mean he's actually going to catch it. Yes, you can catch a drop perfectly and send me sailing straight through, and while you're parking it behind me, right? I'll take that situation. You know why? Because I was set up 20. Okay? Yep. So if my car and my finger does exactly what it's supposed to, you have essentially given me what I wanted in the first place, which is the finish line. I'll take the finish line anytime over having to drop
The people holding that big time number where they're going to catch you at 330, if you leave the starting line and you feel like, hey, I hit the tree, that guy should be the one that's in trouble, because no matter what happens, if you're holding 5 numbers, you may be able to figure out, oh, I can kill about 5, but you don't know that you can kill 52 right here. You know what I mean? Like 50, you don't know you can kill 52 thousandths right there. Like I know where I can kill 1 or I can kill 2, but I might kill 2.2.
Right.
I might kill 1.9.
Right.
I did, in fact, last year. Remember the last race of the year at that Halloween race? I was 006, got down there, broke out by 1,000.
1,000.
And that's what I'm saying. Like I know I can kill about 2 doing this, and I know I can kill about 1 doing that, but I know I can kill about 1. I know I can kill about 2. If you catch me at 330 and I think I hit the tree, you're probably going to lose.
Probably.
Because
I'm not getting off
that
the
guy
gas.
Doesn't know where he's at.
I'm not getting off the gas.
He's counting on you to do something stupid.
Because he's in front of you already and you're slower than he is.
Right.
That's all it is. And back in the chat, we got some more comments. Keep them coming. I love comments, guys. If you guys didn't know, Going Bracket Racing is all about a conversation between myself and Casey and you guys, okay? Or if we have a guest, myself, Casey, and said guest, and you guys, because we want to know what you think, okay? Tex Griffiths over in Australia. I like that, dude. He's in Australia. He's talking to us. He says there is no downside. And I know he's talking about the pros. He says because it's all dyno cubic inches will win out. Tex, I don't understand 100% what you're saying,
I think
but
he's
I
talking
get it a
heads
little
up.
bit. Yeah, and heads up for sure. So all dyno, money will win out. Money will not win out. That's bracket racing. So money will not win out in bracket racing. As we've talked earlier on this show, you pull up next to, what did Jeff Verdi take to a race one time and win it on a wrecker? It looked like it was like a.
Oh, he always brings 2-car open trailer in both of his cars, the Top Gun car and that real nice gold GTO.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter what you show up to the race with. Let go of the button, run the number. Special, what's up to Tim Reed? I grew up with him. I don't know if Casey, if you remember Tim Reed, the Reed Brothers Racing. If you remember
the
Gateway.
Reeds. In fact, I'm pretty sure that I bought that 1150 Dominator, I think, from them the other day,
Gotcha.
a couple years ago now.
Yeah, Tim's in here. Tim, welcome to the show, man, and good racer in his own regard. I definitely grew up watching his dad and his uncle. Really good racers over at Gateway, our old stomping grounds. Welcome to the show, Tim. Glad you're here, man. Yeah, Casey, man, you can win in just about anything, you know.
That's the theory I've always had, man, and just everybody needs to just not forget the best driver almost always will win. If you're a good driver, you might get taken out in 4th round before the money, like 10, 12 weeks in a row. But the thing is, as long as you keep doing it, you're right there. If you're slinging slop, then you're not going to win anything anyway. You might luck your way every once in a while, but it's not going to happen again, more than likely. Not with the quality of racers we have now.
I would have to say, eventually, seat time's going to take over anyway. You can't outrace. Well, you can, but you can't go wrong with seat time. The more seat time you have in said vehicle, the more data you got, the more confidence you got, the more ability you have to put yourself in a winning position. So certainly, guys, keep going to those local tracks, cutting the lights down on your practice trees if that's what you do. I know I hit it quite a bit. I know Casey hits it quite a bit. Keep it up, because that's what's going to separate you between a win and a loss. It's because you put the time in to gain said win. So before we wrap it up, Casey, man, what else you got for the Going Bracket Racing YouTube faithful?
That's about it right now, man. We're always here 5 Eastern, somewhere abouts then anyway. Might be 5 minutes early, 5 minutes late on Tuesdays, depending on our technical difficulties. Sorry for the screen cutting out a couple times earlier. We just been having one of those days, but we'll always be here. Might be a little late, but we'll always be here. We appreciate everybody coming in and chatting with us, man. It always makes it a lot more fun whenever the audience joins in, because it gives us some more to talk about. And it like we said before, it allows everybody for their voice to be heard. And if any of you guys think you got something to talk about, got a product you want shown on the Going Bracket Racing YouTube channel, you got anything race team you want to talk about, if you just want to hang out with us on the Going Bracket Racing YouTube channel, send us an email at goingbracketracing@gmail.com, or hit us up on the Facebook page or the YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe to the YouTube channel, because if you subscribe and comment on that TSR video, we're giving away 2 $100 certificates for free on April 21st, man. So it's free to get in that. There's no reason not to get in that. But we appreciate everybody being with us, and we'll see you next week.
See you guys. Thanks for joining.